This is my biggest fear. However, at this point, it's just not a fear, but a delayed future. But before telling it, let me give you some context and history behind this channel. I started uploading on this channel on the 25th of December, thinking starting a new journey on that day would be auspicious because it was Christmas. And though not much of growth is seen on this channel, but that doesn't matter. I will keep on uploading because after going through many ups and downs in life, I finally found my dream, which is of making movies, as I've also written 2 movies that I genuinely want animated in Japanese anime style. Due to what? I'm also learning Japanese because if possible, I want to direct them too. But coming from a third world country with not good financial background, YouTube is the only thing that seems like could make my dream come true, as through it I want to be able to make connection with Mr. Beast because I've always felt like he's so crazy that he might even bet on me. And after that recent Twitter incident where he was willing to pay $9 million for to get Naruto reanimated, at that time I felt like if he's willing to pay for something that is already animated, then he might even make my dream come true. So I've been praying to the god that he soon becomes a billionaire and becomes the producer of my movie, as he's my only beacon of hope for me to make my dream come true. But again, all this is just too good to be true, while there is this fear which feels like it's bound to be true. And that fear is that I'll be blown into pieces while I'm asleep. You see, this fear of crash landing and dying that you feel while the plane lands, that feeling is something I feel for almost 24/7. Well, to explain this in a better explicit way, you see, next to our house there is this multiple storied building where our neighbors live, and their whole ground floor is completely filled and stored with LPG gas cylinders. If you don't know what LPG is, it's a cylindrical fuel gas tanker that contains the flammable mixture of hydrocarbon gases, and it's used in household for cooking, and our neighbor sells those cylinders. I shouldn't be showing this picture, but have a look. As you can see a truck there. Every week 2 trucks come there to exchange empty cylinders with filled ones, with one truck bringing in like 200 to 250 cylinders, meaning both trucks bring in 500 new cylinders a week in his house, with like 1000 to 1200 cylinders being stored in his house all the times. I mean, I wouldn't have mind the guy doing this business, but you see, he's a really shady person, as he doesn't have a good reputation in the society because of his various incidents of doing shady stuff. Often there is smell of gas leakage coming from his house because he's in there doing some shenanigans. And our city, well, not only city but our whole country in general, is very prone to LPG cylinder explosions. Every week there's like a news of gas cylinder explosion and people's dead in some part of the country. And in like between interval of 2 to 3 months, there's often incident of gas cylinder explosion in our nearby city/town, or matter of fact in our own city. And I myself have witnessed the destruction after the explosion live many times. Though people here know about the risk of storing like thousands of gas cylinders in literally like the middle of a very populated residence area, yet still no one says anything to that businessman because the guy is very rich and has got connections with political figures. And not only him, there are multiple gas cylinder sellers in this small but crowded residence area that store a huge number of gas cylinders, that too out in open sun in their front yards, without following any safety measures due to the lack of proper regulation from the government bodies regarding this thing, as they live in the same building where they store gas cylinders, and this place being a really crowded residence area. So if they or someone in the neighborhood really messes up with the fire, then it would blow up the entire city, and its impact might be the equivalent of 2020 Beirut explosion, or maybe not. I'm not sure, but what I'm pretty sure of is that it would get me killed. This all must have make it seem LPG thing as a really dangerous thing. So what could be the solution for it? Well, in developed countries, I don't exactly know what material or method is used for cooking and stuff, but I've heard like they do use something similar to LPG but through pipeline system, and that method is claimed to be a lot safer than the way we use gas cylinders here in third world countries. But let's not even go that far. Just in our neighboring country, gas cylinders are used the same way like we do here. Yet still, the number of accidents is way lower, and it's so much safer because there are rules and regulations for it, as gas cylinders can't be sold by any random shopkeepers on the street. In our neighboring country, government has taken full control over LPG cylinder, as the factory, warehouse, or the storehouse of those gas cylinders are set very far from the residence area. And when you need it, you just need to call them and they would deliver it to your doorstep. Also, there's this rule that in a month, one household can get only 2 cylinders, unlike here where stuff are so unregulated that you can buy as many gas cylinders as you like and store them, and you can even resell them. Also, any random shopkeeper can sell gas cylinders without following any safety measures, as no strict license system is there for selling gas cylinders. Hearing all this story must have made you feel like I'm just overthinking, and you might critique me by saying that there is always a prospect of death in almost everything, as life itself is very uncertain, so you can't keep whining and fearing about death. And I completely agree with that. But you see, in our same neighboring country, there has been a tragedy which is like the Chernobyl up there, but it was with gas. And while researching on that tragedy, I found that there had been many people who time and again complained to the higher authorities, telling them something bad might happen here. But the higher authority didn't take any action and just ignored them because nothing bad had happened yet, while in truth, those guys had predicted the tragedy. I mean, I'm not pointing fingers at any direction. Unfortunately, if something bad does happen, then I want guy who predicted the tragedy written on my gravestone. But again, if the tragedy happens for real, then there might not even be a piece of me left for to put it into the grave. But such death might be pretty painless, I guess, because I would be gone before I could even realize it. But just thinking about it is so weird. Like someday out of nowhere, due to someone's fault, this tragedy might happen. But again, who knows the future? So yeah, this was just meant to be an update video on regardless of engagement. I do not plan on giving up or stop uploading. And if I do end up stop uploading, then I think you can guess the reason.